Here we have a problem on derivative. That is, we have to find derivative of a square root function, that is square root of x positive square root of x. Okay, before we find derivative of the given square root of function, first let's understand the derivative of square root. Okay, let me consider a function that is y equals to square root of x. Okay, here I want to find dy over dx. That is, I want to find derivative of this function with respect to x. Okay, whenever I want to find derivative of square root, the first thing what I need to do before finding derivative is I have to write the square root as exponent. So whenever we have square root, it can be written as exponent, that is 1/2. So this is the process we have to do before we start finding derivative. Okay, once we write the square root as exponent 1/2, we can start finding derivative, because now this is in the form of y equals to x to the nth power. So if we have a function in the form y equals to x to the nth power, we can find derivative of the function in this form using the power rule of derivative. That is dy over dx equals to, we can bring this exponent in front of the variable x, and we have to subtract 1 from the exponent. This is a power rule of derivative. So for that, the function has to be in the form of y equals to x to the nth power. Now here the function y equals to x to the power 1/2 is in the form of y equal to x to the nth power. So I can find the derivative of this one using the power rule of derivative. So the derivative of y on the left side with respect to x is dy over dx. On the right side, to find the derivative, I have to bring this exponent 1/2 in front of the variable x. Then I'll be getting 1/2 times x to the power 1/2. Once I bring it, I have to subtract 1 from this exponent, then we get negative 1 over here. So dy over dx is equal to 1/2 times x to the power. So the simplification of 1/2 negative 1 is negative 1/2. Okay, so in the next step, okay, here the exponent of this x is negative. To make the exponent as positive, have to move this term to denominator. Then I'll be getting 1 over 2 times x to the power of 1/2. So dy over dx equals to 1 over 2 times. Since the exponent is 1/2, it can be written as square root, so we get square root of x. So the derivative of square root of x is 1 over 2 times square root of x. So from this, we can create a concept, that is, whenever I want to find derivative of square root, so what I need to do is I have to take 1 in numerator, and I have to write 2 times square root in denominator, and inside the square root, whatever stuff I have over here, the same stuff should be written over here. So for any function which has square root, we can follow this procedure. So we take, to find derivative of square root, we take 1 in numerator, and in denominator we have to take 2 times square root, and whatever stuff we have here, that should be written over here. So actually this is derivative only for the square root. So by chain rule, we have to do further derivative of the stuff inside the square root, that is in this case x. So what is the derivative of this x with respect to x? It's just 1. So even if it times it by 1, the result will not change. So usually we won't mention this. In case when I find by chain rule, when I find further derivative of the stuff inside the square root, if I get some other value other than 1, I must write over here using multiplication. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the same procedure in our problem. Okay, now let me assume y equals to the given square root function, that is y equals to square root of x positive square root of x. Okay, now I'm going to find derivative of this function with respect to x. So when I find derivative of this y on the left side with respect to x, it will be dy over dx equals to, so first I find derivative of this square root. So already we have discussed the derivative of square root. So I have to take 1 in numerator and 2 times square root in denominator, and inside the square root, whatever stuff I have over here in the given function, that should be taken as it is. So x positive square root of x. So far I have completed derivative only for this square root. By chain rule, I have to do further derivative of the stuff inside the square root. So now let's find the derivative of this stuff. So the derivative of x with respect to x is 1, and the derivative of square root of x is 1 over 2 times square root of x. That already we have discussed over here. Okay, so now I got the derivative of the given square root function. So the answer is 1 over 2 times square root of x positive square root of x times 1 positive 1 over 2 times square root of x. So the correct answer choice for this question is option C.